I want you to go in under the context of the greatest gifts are given and received and witnessed. Make sure you look people in the eye and tell them they're blessed. What I have found is no matter how much you teach giving, that it's an extremely experiential thing. I went to New York with $100 bills, and anyone I felt needed it for any reason, I gave it away, because I have found that that experience matches nothing else that I can do. I walk away crying, I feel so good, and I've never felt that way in spending $100,000. I've never felt the same way that it feels. The idea of giving and receiving is that it is the Holy Spirit of when you give of yourself. You need to really appreciate what you have and acknowledge it. I want you to go in under the context of the greatest gifts are given and received and witnessed. You're going to buy somebody what they need. So you're going to go somewhere where you can buy the whole line at Starbucks. You can go to the mom that's, you can see her looking at the prices and putting things back. Whatever you do, you're going to use that money in that manner. Make sure you look people in the eye and tell them they're blessed.
Today we are giving back to those who need it during this holiday time. Be grateful for what you have, and the more you receive, the more you can give.
Even though there was a language barrier and we didn't necessarily know what we were saying to each other, or didn't know what I was saying, he still understood that the whole purpose was to get back to him.
And we throw that money away all the time without appreciating, taking for granted what other people are wishing for.
It really hit home because as a child, my parents didn't have a lot to give. Even when we went to like the 99-cent store, or like a Ross or Toys R Us. But as kids, we'd run up to something and they're like, "Sorry, we can't do that right now." But just to see the eyes glow on the little girl that she was with, and it was just amazing, amazing experience.
The kid grabs his fire truck, and then in the back of my mind, I'm like, let's get more. And she kept saying too much. And so I was like, no, let's get more. And the kid was just in love with his fire truck, and he wouldn't take his eyes off it. So I was like, screw this. So I went outside and I got a shopping cart, and I came back in and I see this car, the Mercedes little car that a kid can drive around. So it's for age 3 to 6. So I grabbed that, I put it in the cart, and I turned the corner, and she looks at me, and she just starts crying. And I tap the box, and I'm like, "For your son?" And she just starts crying, and she's just like, "No, no, no." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "We're filling this cart up." And she just literally kept saying too much. And I was like, "No, you're giving us, you're giving us a gift. You're allowing us to give to you, thank you." And so we eventually check out, and her son starts crying. And she's like, "Oh, where's the fire truck?" All he wanted was the fire truck. And it just made me realize how much we take for granted. We're this kid was just all he cared about was his fire truck. And her mom just kept saying grab any toy. Because I just kept thinking back in my mind, I want her to go home and feel to be a hero for her kids, that they're gonna, it doesn't matter what the gifts are, but the fact that her tree is gonna be loaded with gifts, and that her kids are gonna think her parents are heroes. Even if it's just a little Barbie doll with a fact that there's just going to be a lot more gifts under the tree.
And they may never forget that Christmas.
Yeah.
Remember how you feel. I've had so many moments this year where I've been able to identify how I feel and comparatively say, God, I feel much better helping other people with this. If I have a choice now, I know where I'm giving my money, where it makes me feel best. And so we want to teach people that. I think that's a great aspect of being able to provide for people, is to be able to provide for ourselves that perspective.